Erick Sermon, Parrish Smith, better known as EPMD.
Ambrosia, what's up?
Thank you for talking to the people
Ambrosia.
at Ambrosia for Heads and AFH TV.
No doubt.
How you guys doing today?
Great. It's a good
Good.
day.
Yeah, it's a great day.
Yeah, the sun is out too.
We all
Crazy.
woke up, right?
Yeah.
It's a blessing.
That's where it starts.
Yeah. So, Heads went crazy about a year or so ago when you guys announced that you were working on an album featuring all classic duos. Can you guys talk about that project?
Well, right now we're kind of working on making a switch of it,
Okay.
and me and Parrish is going full steam.
Okay.
As far as of us album, just
Yeah.
the fact that right now it's better
Yo,
this
the
way.
numbers crazy.
So right
It's
now
better
we're
this way.
kind of like 3 songs deep.
Right.
Yeah.
And with the help of Rockwilder, which is it's kind of like on it in it with us. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Making sure that we, doing the right thing, and that is, we, making it sounding really crazy.
Yeah.
But like Parrish is doing more work than I do rhyme wise. I ain't finished all my rhymes yet,
Yeah.
but we're doing that
Okay.
first.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
You guys always have a theme. What's the theme looking like so far?
It was a big business.
Yep.
Yeah, big business.
Okay. So what's the thought behind that?
Just-
All business. All big business.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
I know it's big. We had big business,
business, right.
before.
Yeah. You guys have been together for 30 years, right? And you've weathered the storm, survived, ups and downs. What's the key to like putting aside differences and managing to get back in business when it's time to do business?
Well, I think this is it's a normality. You get older, you got family, and it's not like before when you're children.
Yeah.
You are just a man now that is part of a group that now you're an adult and you're supposed to grow up.
Yeah.
So with that being said, hopefully you don't have to worry about that main thing. You have another life and things you have to do besides the one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's with me is the fact that getting older and then able to have family and have another life besides the group.
Can you guys talk about that? I mean, when you started out, you were kids, teenagers. Now you're grown men, parents. Like, talk about how that's changed what you want to talk about and how it's changed your perspective on hip hop.
Well, with Eric and I, the family comes into play for balance because of our extensive run. So too much of anything is not too good for you.
Right.
So with the children, and with different stuff to do, once you go over there and you take care of that, to me, it seems clear our job in hip hop.
Yeah.
Okay, so from the beginning, for Miss My Thing, you a customer, strictly business. Our whole goal was just to, simple as to say, stay true to ourselves and stay true to the culture.
Right.
So that's why with me and Eric knowing each other since 8th grade,
Wow.
business is one thing,
Yeah.
music is another. But
Yeah.
the reality coming from Brentwood, Long Island, and that kinship and that friendship,
Right.
is stronger
Yeah.
than the music and stuff like that.
And that's a family vibe. And the interesting thing is, you guys have always kind of woven in family with your professional life too, because you've been mentors to all sorts of artists that you brought up. Why have you always had a mentality of bringing up other artists instead of just keeping it just to yourselves?
Well, I don't think it was meant to be that we planned that, but again, it just happened like solo. Parrish knew K Solo, for a while, and then the other ones were just happenings. We met Das Effects in Virginia at college.
Yep, for
We
the
met Redman at the show, so it wasn't like this, it was organic, and then you like something, and then you put it down.
Yeah.
You put them down. There wasn't no question of how to just to make this work and get people to be. It didn't work that way.
Right.
It was all organic.
Organic.
Okay.
And fun for me and me, because what we noticed is a lot of people get famous to have, it sounds Def Posse, or, they're the big star, and then they buy lunch for everybody, you know what I mean, take people shopping, and that kind of like where we come from, you sunning cats. So we thought, like, what happens if we could put people on the same level as us
Right.
and roll out? It'd be fun for us, and then it also will extend us. Like give a bowl, get a bowl.
Right. Yeah.
People, a lot of crews were, you see, never did that. They was afraid of that. you know, you might see the majorities come out that followed our plan. A lot of our colleagues didn't do that.
Right.
That they wanted to be the number one.
Right.
So the number one, you
Oh,
stay
wow.
you, and you don't put nobody else on. You know.
And that's short run. Whereas if you put other people on, we might get older, but the artist we was putting on was younger and kept us relevant.
Right.
So when the Hit Squad did that, that's when the flurry of crews, because we was the first to do it.
Mhm.
You had the Juice Crew to do the Juice Crew, but what we did was succeed on that and make albums on every individual through under us and to become famous
Mhm.
and
And
didn't
start
care
from scratch.
and didn't care if they became bigger than us or not.
Yeah.
It was just it was the squad.
Yeah. You mentioned staying relevant. You guys, hip hop has had lots of trends come in and out.
Right.
But you guys have stayed relevant throughout 30 plus years
Mhm.
now. What's the secret to that?
Yeah, I always ask that. I'm gonna go for the past go too. I always ask that question to what is it with us, and the colleagues say it. You as the press and writers, they always say too that, and we don't know. I'm good for me. I don't know. I don't know how this is happening except from my Father God Almighty to be able to bless us in the situation, because out of all the people that came back from that era, they speak about us. Still, the internet, us having the EPMD sneakers out, the clothes, the EPMD apparel, if they have, Throwback Thursdays or whatever, it's always EPMD. If you always hear a celebrity talking to somebody talking, it's always EPMD. I believe me, I don't know. Every time somebody's either referencing us or either talking about us or either something that shows us or something that keeps us in the ear and keeps us fresh in people's eyes. That's the only thing I can think of that's keeping us relevant, because we haven't dropped any music. We do shows and we tear the shows down. So that's another thing too, by still being in New York on stage, or being in LA on stage, or being in Connecticut on stage, or being on these top shows that have the the rap of all our colleagues, and we on them stages.
For
But
sure.
there's nothing to think about. I don't understand me. I asked my mother and everybody else that same question. Why do they consider us to still be relevant with no music?
Parrish, what's your take?
My take could be like the contributions Eric and I made in the first parts of our career. Nobody's have broken those records, so to speak. And our contributions with the artists that we put on. Our contributions with the Timberland, the sneakers, the fisherman hats, the fat gold chains.
Yeah.
And with the music going
Culture.
downtown 6:30, then when something goes south, then people want the sun to come out. And they want to go back to a time when things were good and when they felt good about themselves. And that was me and Eric getting busy doing You Gots to Chill. And then we have components of ourselves. We have Keith, we have Red, we have Das Effect, Solo,
Right, it's a
stuff
lot that
like
came
that.
out of it.
So
Right.
even though if me and E's not on the scene and you don't see us, Redman's highly visible out there with Method Man. Das is starting to move around, Keith's still moving around. So I think all of those components and where hip hop is sitting, and with the surgence of the mumble rapper, which is not a bad thing, that's still art, so you can't knock these kids for doing what they feel
It's hip hop to them.
it's hip hop to them, instead of us complaining. That's like, you know what I mean?
Because even though back then Pat LaBelle and them used to always be like, yo, that's horrible. They used to kill us.
Yes,
To say
big
that
time.
our rap was horrible.
That's right.
So I can't even be, from them saying that, is like us doing the same thing they was doing to us.
Yeah. So
And they got a rhythm.
Yeah.
They definitely got a rhythm, and they doing stuff, but they just don't have the correct leadership.
Right.
And like when me and E, Run would tell us,
Right.
like, can you imagine somebody walking in a headbanger session and be like, you know what, take the birds out of that track. Not feeling the choppers in this, my thing. They wouldn't have made it out of there with me and E.
Right.
This is where we were at and what we felt.
Yeah.
And that's the same for these guys right here.
Yeah. So who are some of the current artists that people would be surprised you guys would want to work with right now?
Separately, I'm a big J. Cole fan.
Okay. Yeah.
That's my main one.
Yeah. You got anybody?
I like A Boogie with the hoodie.
Okay.
I like Dave East. and there's a couple more, but for the most part, you know, from this generation,
Yeah.
naturally Kendrick speaks,
Yeah.
but that's Dr.
Yeah.
Dre, and then again, J. Cole is Jay-Z.
Yeah.
He's more conscious
Right.
rapper.
Yeah.
So those are some of the guys from this era.
So E, you talked about tearing the stage down. I saw you guys perform at the Roots Picnic 2 years ago, and it was sizzling. Even though it was raining, the crowd was just on fire.
Yeah.
You guys are not rappers, you're MCs, you control the crowd. And those that came up under you were the same way. Redman still a great performer today. Keith Murray still a great performer today.
Mm.
What is it about being an MC? Like, what's that essence? What do you need to do to bring that out on stage?
I think for me, watching what I came from,
Yes.
you know, Run-D.M.C. was
Run,
there was
Rep, yeah.
to be able to watch them every night, be on tour with them,
Chuck D.
and be able to see Chuck D, to
Will
be able to
Smith.
see
Mhm.
the control the stage, you know, as far as with the microphone, and be able to know that the crowd's with you, you know, and you have that they with you, you know, just talk with them.
That's big right
and
there,
they're
yeah.
with you, and
Yeah.
that's what running them captivated it. You
Yeah.
know, so did Chuck D, so did KRS-One. Don't forget, these rappers came out before us. The Rakims, the Canes, Biz Markie. We got to watch all that
Yeah.
before we came.
Yeah.
People be like, yo, but how is that possible?
Right.
Everyone that in that era came out before us that we know from New York,
Right.
especially the ones we look up to: KRS-One, Rakim, Kane, Light, Biz,
LL.
Public, LL,
Yeah.
Run.
Yeah.
You know, we was the late '88 babies.
Right.
Maybe the last one.
The last ones maybe.
Come in.
Right.
Come
There was
in.
a shift after
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And what we noticed is your relationship with the crowd was just as important as doing the songs. It's more important to have a relationship with the audience and no lip singing
Yeah.
than to focus on your songs and singing over tracks that they already know the lyrics.
That's one thing too. Was live performances as far as rhyming. That was a big
You
thing.
know, like Run, Build It
Where
Up.
we came from, even though the record might have scratched. Jam as JC, probably Rest in Pieces used to. The record was jump. It didn't matter. It
There was no problem. Right?
no problem. Professionalism of keep going,
Right.
Mhm.
but
Right.
still keep it live.
Right.
Live turntables, live everything.
You think that's come back around full circle now that recording is not like as profitable for people as it used to be? Like, it's now about the performance. That's how you get your bread.
Well, everybody right now is trying to find a way, you know. But the ones that the '90s and everything, we still understand what this is. We never left it. The new kids are in trouble.
Yeah.
Because once it gets down to just this, you're in trouble. Because now you got to be able to say your rhymes, and how you going to say it without the auto tune, how you going to be able to make it work without the song. Everything come into play when you have to rock that stage
Yeah,
and
right,
keep
right.
that crowd engaged. Now, when you get older in their career, not the kids. The kids don't understand it right now. But when they get older in their career,
Right,
want to be out there
right.
rocking,
Yeah.
it's going to be a problem for them.
Yeah.
I tell them all the time, looking at the camera, to let them know too. I hope that people look at this too to understand that when I tell kids they have to make music and won't be able to have a career, I hope they understand that it's scary that when your years pass by and you get to not even close to our age, but close to ours, and then before it, when you're gonna have to go to work, you're not gonna be able to go to work and get a show, and people not coming to watch you because you didn't make no music. Imagine you being 40-something year age and you up there talking about bitch, slut, hoe, boom. It doesn't match no more. It matched when you was young. We made songs. So from the Rolling Stones era, from down to the OJs, down to where we at, to Keith Sweats, all the way down to the EPMDs and the Public Enemies and them, we can rock forever because we made records.
Right.
So if this is the moment, I hope you stack your paper and that you was able to put money away the whole nine, because you're not gonna be able to have a job no more.
Right.
They're gonna be there for you.
Yeah.
Nobody's coming.
Yeah.
Because you didn't build that foundation on the way up
Right.
to have a rapport with your audience.
Right.
It's not real. It's a moment.
Yeah.
Not taking enough fun, but if you want to be able to do this, you better be secure right
Yeah.
now.
That's right. And part of that is handling your business, right? Not just on the music side, but also diversifying. You look at a lot of
I mean, they better be able to
Yeah.
have stacked some paper,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they're not gonna have this one. It just history just shows it. I
Yeah.
can name a 200 acts
Yeah.
that came in from the 2000 to now who had a moment.
Yeah.
That's when Craig White made that. You won't be around next year.
Right.
Nobody understand what he meant by that.
Right.
But he knew because he was in there and he's seen it happen
That's right.
on the regular.
And you look at all the most wealthy artists, all of them made their money outside of music.
Yes.
You know, Jay, Puff.
Well, but they still made the stars though.
Right.
They can
They
still
made them stars,
yeah,
but they
yeah.
also leveraged it.
Leverage
you know,
it, exactly.
Off
Right.
the foundation
Right.
of what.
And I
Erick
hope
and I do.
these
Right.
new ones gotta do that. They didn't have to, but these new ones have to.
Right. You guys have focused on business on every single album, and you also have a lot of side businesses. You got Def Rugs, you got the sneakers. Like, can you talk about that? What your business mindset has been outside of music?
Well, we came from that. Like it's the first album, but for me, Russell Simmons was a person who who I just watched. I didn't have that much convo with him up front, but just being able to watch and then me being able to be in all those meetings with other execs made us fresher. God bless the dead Burt Padell, Leo Cohen's, Russell, Sylvia Rome's. These were all our friends, people who we knew, but we just didn't just do deals with them and do business with them. We watched them and listened to them. So when it got to this point, we understood what it was to do out here in this game, that it is a business. Just like the NBA, when it's like, you traded me? Like what is going on?
Right.
It's
I
a
just bought the
business.
crib in the state.
Right, business.
Right.
You know?
What about you, Parrish?
For me, it started with my brother, James Smith.
Okay.
Smitty D, he started the Rock Squad. He was signed to Tommy Boy Records. As a young kid, I used to just travel with him, watch him get busy and stuff like that. And it didn't work out because it was in the early days of the game where nobody really knew the music or the market or how to really get yourself out there. So I seen him go through a lot, you know, and then after him, and actually Bambaataa with Planet Rock and stuff like that, you know, I was around for all of that. But I was an outsider with limited access. And then me and Erick used to spend a lot of time together. So, you know, when you can't have something, you want it more. So with that being said, with the right connects, just followed the path. And to this day, you know, when I see my brother, I got to thank him because if I don't know what made him pursue that, but because he pursued that, because he had a record deal, it put me in a position to really want to be a part of the hip hop culture, which wasn't even called hip hop at the time.
Right. Right.
And then after that, you know, we got super blessed, and then the rest was history.
Right. You guys were some of, if not the first, to bring funk into hip hop. Like, I don't know that people really see that you guys are playing. People talk about G-Funk and stuff like that, but you guys were the first to bring funk. So what was playing in your houses? What influences led to that for you guys?
I was my dad had a lot of, my dad
He
had a
couldn't
lot of
even
albums.
get it out, right? He said,
But not that. But again, Parrish's dad is the one that had the Zap cassette tape. So, you know, that right there was huge. You know, because inside the house you heard the Whispers, the OJs, the Temptations, you heard Gladys, you heard, you know, every Luther Vandross, of course.
Yeah.
That was what it was in my crib, along with Funkadelic and Parliament, the whole nine. But that wasn't. We all knew what One Nation Under the Groove was because again, if you went to a house party, then that played. You know, Atomic Dome, Flashlight.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You
Right.
knew those records.
Right.
Period. So, but when we got a chance to get in the game, we sampled them. You know.
And wanted to stay true to it because a lot of people, like Main Source would say, they get there, but then they seem hesitant to represent. Meaning, like, before you get it, you'd be like, yo, let me in there and I'll hold the flag and I'll represent the culture.
Right.
But then you get in there and you get the money and you throw the flag to the side and the next thing you know, you're representing something else.
Right.
Erick and I didn't want to do that. We just wanted to listen to Hot 97, which was Red Alert, listen to 107.5 with Mr. Magic, and at best get a world premiere. If you got a world premiere, then you really made it.
Right.
You know?
Right. So you guys talked earlier about watching people perform and how you learned. You tour with a lot of those guys too. What if you could go back and say this was my favorite tour ever? What would it be?
Yeah, the Run's House tour.
Yes.
What about that? What was it about that tour?
Just to again, we was young and Russell came for us because Run told him to go get us, and we didn't have money for a tour bus, so we rode on the Run-D.M.C's tour bus. So that was, you know, you couldn't get no bigger than that. You know, we was a new group out of all the groups in the world.
Yes.
We get to ride on Run-D.M.C's tour bus
For free.
for free every night.
You know, and there was two of us. That's,
Right.
in my opinion, I think that's what made EPMD dope, because there was two new guys coming in. I used to watch Erick, you know what I mean? Erick used to watch me. We used to make music for each other, go back and forth, the rhymes, effortlessly. So
And Run was that they were so nice. Like Run used to come to our room and talk to us at night.
every night.
A new group
Yeah.
didn't know us and tell us some secrets and stuff. You know, Big D, you know, Leo or Russell and them was open arms.
Right.
Will Smith, you know, the best
Will
best
Smith,
president
Charlie
time.
Mack, and all of
He was
those
very.
guys.
It was like a big family.
Yeah.
You know, for some people who didn't know each other. You know, then of course Chuck D. You know, he was like a, you know, massive person to make you feel secure.
Yeah.
And the
If you didn't,
S1Ws
you know.
kept you in line.
Uh-huh.
Like one time we got in trouble on the Run's bus, so we had to go ride on the public enemy bus for a week. And then after that, being over there, the next thing you know, we ended back up at the Run-D.M.C.
Super disciplined, like, you know, drinking.
But all the tours were good,
Yeah,
though.
nothing.
Like,
we still owe
Yeah.
them push-ups.
We had good. We had good tours. Like the Hammer tour was good until we got into a fight, but the LL Cool J tour was good till we got into a gunfight. You know,
Erick
we had
killed
tours.
me, man.
All the tours were good.
Yeah.
And we had our own tour with the Hit Squad tour.
Yeah.
This is all our groups, but
Yeah.
the Run-D.M.C tour was definitely my favorite.
Yeah. When you talk about gunfight, K Solo talked about how Redman used to always like pull on him when he would challenge him. Like he would tackle Redman. You heard the story?
I don't know, but they was like brothers. So,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
believe it what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Will Smith, did you guys, when you met him, did you see like the potential for him to?
No, he told me.
He told
Yeah.
us.
He said, I'm going to be famous.
Yeah.
I said, what do you mean? He said, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to be on TV. He said it.
While he was on the Run's House tour.
Yeah,
He
was on the
his
tour.
mind was already there.
His
like,
mind was already
I'm
there.
gonna go do
And-
this.
and
And then,
Yes.
and then Charlie, come on, we kids too.
Mhm.
17 years old, we're not really tripping. You know, whatever. We still shocked by even being out there. I know I'm shocked by even waking up every day like that.
Right.
But Charlie Mack is the one that drove Will Smith to LA to meet Benny Medina.
Mm. Wow.
And these guys had some energy. Like we used to have basketball courts on the bottom of our tour bus.
Uh-huh.
So anytime there was trash talking on the bus, then the tour bus would get pulled over, the rims would get set up, and then you had to back up the shit you was talking.
Right.
And Will Smith and Charlie Mack, man, these guys had ups.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
But
And
Will Smith picked me up one day, and I was 50 pounds lighter than this, but I was still 230 or 220.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing.
like that.
Wow.
To
They
pick
had
me, whatever,
different
but
energy.
whatever, like it was nothing.
Yeah.
Had me on the shoulder.
Yeah. Crazy.
I mean, he used to do them push-ups backwards against the wall like he was brute strength already at 18.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And I mean, like Duncan and we had this game called Snatch, just
Yeah.
some quick stuff. Like again, it goes back to the trash talking all day.
Yeah.
But then at night, the hotels, we wasn't going in all our hotels. There used to just be parking lots,
Right.
and you had to be aware going to the soda machine because if you popped enough junk all day, you could get abducted
Yeah.
at the soda machine, brought to the room, full bathtub of water,
Yeah.
and then you would have to attempt to drink all the water. You
Yeah.
follow me?
Yeah.
And Big Charlie Mack and Will and them, those was the fun part of the tour, aside from the performance part.
Wow.
And we had one guy get caught one time.
Oh, okay.
He paid for all the shit we talked on the tour.
You guys have had incredible ears. I mean, you've been responsible for some of the biggest careers in hip hop. What do you look for in artists?
I just think originality is what we did. We had some special people. Just to have what we did, Das Effects changed the game to where Cube called them, to where like, you know, Crisscross,
Yep, check yourself.
God Bless Dead,
Check
Heavy
yourself.
D, Ice Cube, you know,
Teddy
Wretched Effect,
Riley, right? Teddy Riley.
you know, it was a lot of groups was doing Das Effect style. They changed the game. They changed the game. You know, and what Redman was able to do, you know.
But
at the
what
time.
And for us though,
and K Solo,
Yeah.
with Michael Bivins, or like when you see Nas talk about Solo,
Yeah.
as far as how complex Solo was. Besides the spelling, the fact that the rhyming of Solo, everybody was special. Solo came out spelling. Das came out with it, whatever. We had special rappers that you never heard before. And then Murray with the catch this bubonic plague in your arm. Like, it was, we never,
Yeah.
our rappers was never heard before.
Yeah.
from
Never.
scratch.
But that's an interesting thing. How did you guys know they were ready? Because they were so different. Like you literally changed.
They
the sound.
knew. So they knew me and Erick's prototype. So you knew if you was lucky to catch up with us. Like Eminem
Right,
tells
yeah.
the story.
Yeah,
He used
yeah.
to run into me and Erick at the elevator and stuff like that before he got on. You knew if you caught up with us, then the smart ones had their music in sync with what we was already doing, but different, because the whole uniqueness was nobody sound the same. And the big thing is, out of all of them, the biggest artists, because we have a tendency of leaving ourselves out.
Right.
You understand, where it starts with,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yep.
So,
And you guys have changed the sound already.
and cats knew, like when they heard It's My Thing, Your Customer, or Rampage, when Das caught up with us, they was like, yo, we already know because we see Solo, we see Redman. Same thing with Redman. Redman was like, okay, I heard Tell the World My Name, Unfinished Business. Redman, I float like a butterfly, sting like a rock group. So it was like a train that you had to catch that was already moving.
And Redman was very anxious because we had him before DOS Effects.
Yes.
And DOS Effects came out before him, and there wasn't something that he was okay with at the beginning.
At all.
You know?
Why was
Because he was signed there, he was with us first.
But why'd you have to delay though? Why?
Because DOS was ready.
Yeah,
Okay.
and Das was like, they took off already, so they was out in February, March, but Redman was still in the hangar doodling on the,
Right.
just tag, because he was a great artist and stuff
Right.
like that.
Right.
But then once he caught, boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he knew, Reggie was like, I'm a blow.
Yeah.
He knew from the door that he was going to be somebody.
Yeah.
He knew.
And his story's crazy too, because think about it, the night we went to Club Sensation, we wasn't even supposed to do that show.
Mhm.
We filled in for somebody,
Mhm.
okay? Then on top of that, once we gave Redman the number, he lost Erick's number.
Oh wow.
So he only had the first 3 numbers of Erick's phone number and had to call a gazillion
Wait, are you
numbers
serious?
until he finally got his mom's. This is a true story.
That's crazy.
So he only had 3 numbers, whether it was the area code or the first 3 numbers of your phone number. And he had to figure it out, and somehow he did. And then he said, I don't know if it was the last time he was going to try, but he pushed the numbers, and the sermon picked up.
That's crazy.
And then from there, boom.
That's crazy.
So-
Because I got this, we still got the same numbers. This my sister lives there now, but same phone number.
Yeah.
So if
And-
he wouldn't have
and
been
MC
able
Light
to
was
remember
supposed
that
to
number.
perform that night too, but she didn't show up, and that's how you guys connected, right?
See, I'm not sure.
I don't even know if it's late.
I know
Okay.
Biz.
But you
Biz
might
showed up.
be right, though.
Right,
Yeah.
but we were filling in for sure.
Okay.
Club Sensation.
Maybe it could have been
Jersey.
for light.
Yeah.
Maybe you might be right.
Yeah.
And Redman was ahead of us. He was like, yo, I'm not even gonna mess with the show. I'm gonna be in the dressing room, so when they done.
Right.
And then once we were done, we came in, was like, oh wow, so who are you? And boom, he just looked like who he was.
Right. All right. So I know we're pressed for time. I got one more question.
Yes.
You talked about some of the jewels that Run and Chuck D and Elder Statesman at the time dropped on you guys. You guys remember some of those? Or do you have some that you would drop on this current
Of what?
generation? Jewels like of wisdom, like just guidance.
Yeah, that the big one was, again, what I said before, as far as hopefully that you're stacking it, because again, you're not going to be able to work,
Right.
and that's going to be a problem for them.
Right.
Like, they having fun now, but they're not going to be able to do 20, 30 years, 40 years plus Chuck D or Raps Delight, Sugar Hill Gang.
Right.
You got to make a song. If that song doesn't leave that moment, you in trouble.
Right.
So that's the most important thing.
Yep.
They better have a plan B
Right.
or something outside that they making money with or investing in something. Because once that moment is over, it's over.
And your audience in the future is not going to be able to, when they're 40,
Not gonna be
50,
here.
They're not going to be able to be doing these dances and stuff like that.
They're not going to be, but the music's going to sound strange.
Yes.
Right.
It's sounding strange now. I got a 21-year-old daughter. 2 years ago, I couldn't stop her from playing this music. Now she's unswitched. It's bugging me out at home.
Right.
Like, what happened to your ratchetness?
Yeah.
I'm over that,
Mhm.
Dad.
Yeah.
Shit sounding whack now. Couldn't believe it. 21.
Right.
I mean, she was like my 13-year-old son. I mean, ratchet out of this world. Know every last one of the records that come out on the radio.
Yeah.
And the ones that's on the web and the whole nine. My son he knows every last one of them records. My daughter left it. Couldn't believe it.
Crazy. Erick and Parrish making dollars again. This
Yes.
time it's with big business.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And brother, thank
And
you
much
so
more
much.
success.
Yes.
Yeah.
One of the top
Please,
ones out there.
please,
Ambrosia for help.
please take this people and tag this and move this around the system. You move everything else that's negative around the system. Move this positivity around the internet. Peace.
Thank you,
EPMD.
guys.